really making history. Absolutely phenomenal.
And Ace is the champion of the Intel Extreme Masters World Finals.
Storm's still not quite done. MC is going to take this fight, though. 3 seconds left.
Last 2 rounds of matches got us started well for ESC.
And this is a massive move for Zez, but he's not content with just a Nexus kill. He wants to win.
And it's all done. A flawless win.
Unbelievable Rogue with a 4-0 victory over Classic.
And they did it again in the grand finals. It's no
Give it up for your Intel Extreme Masters World Champion!
And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another day of the IEM Katowice 2024 group stage, the round of 24 group B. I'm of course your host, Light VIP, and with me I'm joined by the lovely people in the chat, by the amazing players, by my plushies. Quack, quack, quappy, quack. It is great to be back here, and we are here to conclude group B. For those that are maybe unaware, IEM Katowice is an event that did occur a couple of weeks ago. At this point, and we have been going over the group stage to catch up on matches that we otherwise missed out on. Specifically, we have not been casting the matches that were broadcasted on the mainstream. We've been going over the matches that were being broadcasted on the side streams. There was a B and C stream at the time, and that is what we are focusing on. We already covered Group A, and we have covered a half of Group B, and now we're here for the other half. We're here for 4 other best of 3s. We're going to be kicking things off with Clem versus SHIN, followed by Cure versus Oliveira, followed by Clem versus Bunny, and we end the night with Cure versus Stats. So a couple of TvTs there. Again, there were a lot of Terran players in this group, and it's round robin, so they all played against each other. But if you recall, yesterday we were live, of course, with the first half, and we did cover SHIN versus Cure. And I'll be honest, I mean, I think we all thought that it was going to be a sure thing there, but SHIN, he popped off. He did pop off. He was able to bring Cure down, surprisingly so. And yeah, it was just really impressive stuff, really impressive showing by SHIN. But now he's up against Clem, who arguably has the best TvZ in the world. It's pretty damn good, it's pretty damn terrifying. I know that Maru has been spiking a bit recently as well, that is true, but regardless, Clem, he is still on fire. He's still a beast in this matchup, and I worry for SHIN. To be fair though, SHIN is an unorthodox player. He's not the most standard of players, so yeah, I'm excited. Very excited to sink my teeth into this TvZ. Meanwhile, welcome everyone in the chat. Welcome, shout out to Soundo for arriving 30 minutes before the broadcast. Get that sound. I see Werehog in the chat. Wormschick. Shema, papi, Shema. Good to see you all, and I hope you're all ready for a day of StarCraft. Meanwhile, we also do have the replays available for ESL Open Cup Americas, but I may hold on to that replay cast for an extra couple of days, maybe for a week, just because this week we were busy with the GSL qualifiers and they took up a lot of time. Next week we have some more free time available, and we can indulge ourselves in a couple of other things. We can indulge ourselves in things like the ESL Open Cups. So yeah, we have a little bit more free time next week, so we can fill it up with those kind of broadcasts. We'll try to make it work. Try our best to make it work. Outside of that, let's go in. Let us dive into our first series here. Again, it's going to be a TvZ. Game number 1 is going to be on Alcyone. Let's go. Let us go. We've been seeing a lot of Alcyone as of late, especially during the GSL qualifiers. It's one of the more popular maps in the map pool. Makes sense. It's much more macro-oriented. There's less quirky features in the map as well, despite the goal base, which can come into play. I wonder, is SHIN, is he crazy enough to take advantage of the gold? I hope not. I don't think it would work well for him, but we'll see. We'll find out. We're loading in. loading in. Oh, there we go. I was like, what? Because spawning in the top right-hand corner of Alkion, we have our South Korean Zerg player. Our blue Zerg representing Mystery Gaming. It is SHIN. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Terran player representing Team Liquid from the land of France. One of the best Terrans in the world. It is Clem. I do think that at the event of IEM Katowice, Clem, or even leading up to it and the event itself, I think it's hard to say. Obviously, Clem didn't make it to the finals, but I think I would still say that he is one of the best, if not top two, alongside Maru. Both Clem and Maru are just terrifying players in their own right, and yeah, I am really excited to see what we start off with as Clem. Where are we going? Okay, interesting. It's going to be a 2-Rax Reaper opener back at home, but I believe we're going to be throwing down a proxy 3rd Rax. Clem has done this before. I remember seeing this on Golden Aura. I've seen this variation on Golden Aura and maybe on Oceanborn, some of these smaller maps, but this is a wild build to whip out on Alkion. It is going to be 3-Rax Reaper, a much more committed variation of 3-Rax Reaper, and SHIN is going Hatch Gas Pool. Standard opener out of SHIN. Clem, the goal here, typically with a 3-Rax Reaper, is contain. It's to deny the 3rd base, contain your opponent on 2 bases for as long as possible, trade against the Lings, trade against the Queens. With a more committed variation, I think we are looking for queen kills. I think we're looking for queen kills, we're looking for drone kills as well. We're looking for a little bit more damage, more than just containing the opponent, more than just denying the 3rd. The question becomes, can we achieve more? Well, a lot of that comes down to the reactions here of SHIN. The scouting of SHIN for the time being gets across the map, does confirm the 2-Rax. He's aware of the Reapers that are coming, but doesn't know how committed this really is. Oh boy. First Reaper is getting across the map. Lings are amassing. Queens are on the way. Ling speed was prioritized before pulling out. Have, of course, pulled out of that gas. And the Reaper going to be able to chip away and shave away at the HP here of those Lings. Not too bad. 1 Ling does go down. Again, we shouldn't be getting any drone kills yet, as we are amassing Lings. Now, SHIN has gone for these kind of all-in variations, where off of a 2-Rax Reaper, he does go for a Baneling Nest and just amass Lings. Has done it before. We'll see if he does it here. Again, Queen almost does get a kill on that Reaper. 2 Reapers getting very low. Good control out of Clem. Does save them. 1 Reaper goes down. 1 Reaper for 1 Queen. Not a bad trade here at all for Clem. But we have 2 more Queens on the way. Meanwhile, we're still amassing more Reapers. And I'm sure SHIN now realizes what's been going on. Good grenades once again as well here from Clem. And again, because we have arrived with additional Reapers. Oh, with the tumor. Queens are low. Wasted energy. And can we get another Queen? We can. Ooh, a second Queen goes down. We're going to get the 3rd Queen as well. We're snowballing out of control. We have a mass amount of Lings for us around. We've lost 3 Queens so far. And now it's on SHIN to chase this down to get us around. But it looks like Clem. Can we escape? Oh. KDA charge is going to be going off as we retreat. It looks like SHIN, he just barely can't keep up. Yeah, Clem, he does escape with his Reapers. Did get some amazing amount of damage here. Looking at the trades, it was 1 Reaper for 3 Queens and 1 Ling, and a denied 3rd. The 3rd just now being taken. Meanwhile, Clem working on his own natural base. It is getting up and running. We have a bunker behind this. So Clem, he saw how many Lings there are. And I mentioned before that SHIN has been known to Bane bust from this situation. So we have a bunker on the way just in case that were to occur. We can see it's not a Bane bust. Roaches. Roach Warren gets thrown down, and 2 more gases are being taken. SHIN, I imagine he wants to drone up to 2 base saturation and just double down from there, commit to Roach aggression, to a push, to an all-in. Add-ons are exposed. We could maybe deny Stim. It's possible. It's possible. Do have our 3-Rax setup. Do have our Hellions on the way. The arrival of the Hellions is going to be the end of the aggression of these Lings, which means we cannot deny the Stim. Splash damage from these Hellions will be too much. 3rd CC is on the way. Clem getting into a longer game. And SHIN is going for his all-in. Roaches are on the way. Soon to be Ravagers are on the way as well. He has been able to saturate on these 2 bases, taking 3 gas geysers. And that is it. That is all he has. Cutting workers here at 34. 34 drones, all he has, all he needs. And can he catch Clem out? Clem being lured out onto the map. Uh-oh. Being lured out. Does run into a Roach. Big scout. Roach has been spotted immediately. Clem, he backs off. Does back off. Try to take a better position here. Roaches are going to be chipped away at. Ravagers have been revealed. And we have to slow this down. Again, SHIN has to be very careful with those Lings because there are so many Hellions. Lings, they can be shaved off. They can be hunted down. That's coming first round. SHIN, he collapses on the army. He does get us around here on the Hellions. Very nicely done. The Hellions will fall. The Reapers do escape. It looks like Stim is going to finish up. It's going to be close. It's denied. Stim 1 second away from finishing, does get denied. SHIN pushing through. Do take down the add-ons. We're going for the factory. Yeah, the production has been disrupted. Bile's going to be connecting here, taking down the bunker. The bunker falls. Boys are being pulled. There is another bunker, but it's a little bit too far back. And the Biles, they will bring it down. Too many Biles. Bunker falls. Again, it's 11 Ravagers in total, and Clem just doesn't have enough. Another bunker goes down. Again, if he had Stim, maybe another story here. But without it, his Marines are just that much less useful here. The Starport gets focused down. No more Liberator. Boys being pulled once again. Lings, they're flooding in. Again, we can see SHIN was so patient with his Lings. He kept them back the entire time. Has not thrown them away. Now he's camping the production. Biles being thrown down. Remember, Clem doesn't really have much in the main to win for the third TC. And GG gets called. SHIN, he has too much. He overwhelms, and he will take game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Again, SHIN, he's a very aggressive player. He's a very aggressive player. And for SHIN to, I assumed there was going to be a Bane Bust follow-up, and I think Clem assumed that as well, but no, it went into Roach Ravager. Instead, went for the all-in. Clem did a lot of damage. I don't want to say that his opener failed. It didn't. The opener of Clem didn't fail. He killed 3 queens. Like, he did a decent amount of damage there. He contained the 2 bases. He forced the all-in. Basically, an all-in, not this specific all-in, but an all-in was the only option there from SHIN. Otherwise, he would just be playing from behind. And Clem was expecting some aggression. The Roach Ravager did rock up, and really a big moment there for SHIN was that surround right outside the base. And the timing of the push. Let's be real here. If SHIN had hit even 1 second later, Stim finishes. Like, Stim was 1 second away from finishing. It was crazy how close that was. If Stim finishes, and I'm not saying that that would have been the end of the game, but Clem would have had such a stronger defense with Stim. He would have had more pushing power, more diving power with his Marines to try to get on top of those Ravagers. So there's that factor that came into play. Obviously, the surround on the Hellions, right? Where SHIN, he sent his Lings towards the north. He was able to get a wraparound on the army. Big moment there as well. So that's 2 things going in his favor. The other big thing, the production. All the production, all 3 Raxes, the factory, and the starport, everything was at the natural. So once the natural was broken, I mean, where can be the production there? Like, we cannot reinforce. Nothing can come out without being focused down immediately. So Clem couldn't really muster up an army once his natural base had been broken in such a way. Like, there was just so much working against Clem in that moment. And GG, well played. SHIN takes a lead in the series. He 2-0'd Cure yesterday, and now here he is up against Clem. Can we go the distance? Can we go all the way? Let's go. As we're getting ready for game number 2, going to be on Golden Aura. And already I'm pleasantly surprised by the results. By game 1. And here we go, we're getting into game number 2, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Golden Aura, we have our French Terran player, the Red Terran representing Team Liquid, being punished for his cheese, for his aggression in game 1. We'll see what he goes for here in game 2. Can he bring it back? It is Clem. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Golden Aura, we have his opponent. We have the Blue Zerg player representing Mystery Gaming, leading the series 1-0. Going for a 15-15, very safe opener. It is SHIN. After what happened in game 1, SHIN doesn't want that to happen ever again, and going for a very safe follow-up here. 15 hatch into the 15 spawning pool. With this means faster queen production, it means faster ling production, delayed gases. That's the downside here. It is slightly inefficient, slightly less economic as an opener for SHIN, and as I did mention, does mean that his gases are going to be very delayed. We'll see how delayed these gases are. Now, an opener that Dark is quite fond of on Golden Aura is to open up gasless. Go 15-15, delay his gases, and take a third base. Then you drone a little bit more, you saturate your natural, and then you go into your first, second gas quite late. Something that Dark does love on Golden Aura, the reason why he does it quite often on this map is because of how close these bases are to each other. In this matchup specifically, in the early game, you can harass the bases with Hellions, sure, but because these areas are so close together, because of these choke points here outside the natural and here at the third base, if you have 4 queens, and we're going to have more than 4 queens, then we're going to be able to split them up and defend these choke points and make sure that Clem cannot get into any of these mineral lines. You can be very greedy. You can be quite greedy here on Golden Aura. We can see that SHIN, though, does take his gas. Takes his gas, will take his third base at a much more reasonable time. Meanwhile, Reaper is on the way. It was a Rax expand at a Clem, a much more standard opener here from our Red Terran player. Much more standard opener here as Reaper does get across the map, does zip in. Doesn't quite get much done though. It's going to be forced away, zoned away by SHIN. And SHIN is going to be trying to get into his third base, but is zoned away by the Reaper. Third is going to be delayed for a couple of seconds as SHIN comes back in. Managed to get it up and running on location. And we should be able to get past this into the early to mid game here. Going for the add-on swap as well. Getting into... Oh, interesting. Okay, getting into Hellion production. And I was about to say we should be getting into a third CC, but no, we're going for a starport. And you may be thinking, where is the starport? It's across the map. Clem is being crazy this series. In game 1, went for a proxy. Here in game 2, likewise. Very different proxy, but a proxy starport for... We could do one of two things. We could go for a drop, or we could go for Hellion Cyclone, and with a Liberator harassing the main base. We can go Lib to harass the main, or a Medevac to drop into the main. I'm feeling Lib, but we'll see. Clem, again, still amassing his army. Yep, there it is. Liberator is in production. Hellions and Cyclones on the way. Clem gonna try and pull SHIN apart. Can he do so? Look at the army here. We have 4 queens so far, soon to be 5 for SHIN. Queen's still amassing, bit of a supply block. Stopping, delaying that 6th queen. Clem does rotate around. Third CC's on the way. He's not all in by any means. Very committed though. Starting a concussive shell? Wait, what? I think we're doing this to eventually cancel. Are we going to plan on playing mech? Yep, we cancel. We cancel shell. Get into stim. Okay, not going to be mech here. Cyclones have been revealed. It looks like we do get a queen. 1 queen does go down. A Liberator sieges up into the main base. Spore is a little bit too late. And drones are going to be going down. We get 2 workers in the main. Spore about to finish up. And meanwhile, we get another queen. Question is saving the 3rd queen. Cyclones barely breaking through here. These queens looking so exposed. But Ling reinforcements, they come in first round. And they just barely do get it. They get 1, 2 helis, they get the Cyclone. And they surround the second Cyclone as well. Good cleanup here by SHIN. He has held. That was a tight hold as well. He lost 2 queens in the process. He lost 3 drones. Cleaned up the lib. And SHIN survives. Starport is floating back home. And this is brutal. This Starport, when these medevacs, are going to be so delayed. Medevacs are so delayed because we're floating back home. Third CC is getting up and running. We're getting into our bio production, into eventually tanks, I imagine. There we go. Tech lab on the factory is finishing up for that tank production. And SHIN is getting ready to push out. He's cutting workers at 41. Cutting workers at basically 2 base saturation, to be honest. 41 drones. We're amassing roaches, ravagers. We're going for another big timing. And Clem is vulnerable. Clem is vulnerable right now. He has nothing to work with. He has a handful of Hellions. He has 1 tank. He's gonna have 1 tank to defend, and he has to keep it safe against the biles of these Ravagers. As we are amassing our army. There it is, Ravagers getting across the map. Hellions, they move out to expand to take the third. And the Ravagers, they have arrived. Keeper's gonna be filed down. The tank still in the main. Another SimCity working against Clem. The tank gets on the way. Deepa's gonna be going down. Clem is supply blocks. The tank does siege on the high ground. We don't care about the tank. They siege here upon the natural base. Lings, they're flooding in, and the boys are being pulled. Big piles here. They do graze the tank. Ravagers are getting surrounded. Yeah, Ravagers taking a lot of damage. 1 tank goes down. Second tank has arrived. 23 ACVs fall. Again, Clem still in a lot of trouble behind this. We're getting a lair. We are droning up a little bit. Looks like SHIN isn't feeling too confident about breaking the main base, but he does at least have control of the natural. And SHIN is droning. Is droning on up. These 6 Ravagers putting in a lot of damage. A lot of work. Do focus down one of those Ravagers. We're down to 5, and SHIN has to back off. Does retreat as the dust does settle. We have killed 23 SCVs. We killed a couple of Marines. We killed a tank. Killed the Hellions, of course. Clem did retain his Marine count, and now we have to go for a counterattack. We have to get some damage done, as SHIN is taking a massive economic lead. The pressure is on Clem. Go for the double jump. Does unload. We can see SHIN checking the gold, making sure that Clem doesn't pull a fast one over on him. And SHIN, we're transitioning into Ling Bane Roach Ravager. That is a Baneling Nest on the way. 1-1 is done for Clem. Armory for 2-2. 2-2 is going to be delayed because of that armory. That will give SHIN the opportunity to catch up in upgrades, at least a little bit. That 4th base is on the way. Again, Clem, he cannot afford to come back home with this drop. He has to get value here. He has to get damage done. Infestation Pit is on the way for SHIN. We're stimming in. Denied tumor. The hatchery. SHIN is in position. Will defend that base. Oh. Okay, calm down, Pappy. Calm down. SHIN holding onto the hatchery. Meanwhile, across the map. This is going to be force back files, even grazing the Marines. Ice is on there by SHIN. He's rushing into a hive. I thought the infestation bit was going to be for infestors to be safe, but no. Like, this is a very fast hive here by SHIN. Like, it doesn't even have 1-1. Doesn't even have the bailing speed. The hive is on the way. That will help out with Adrenal. You can see Clem recovering, getting back up to 3 base economy. As he is recovering, though, the Lings, they come in. Oh, they almost did. There are Hellbats in position. Quick reaction out of SHIN. It does pull back, going for bailing run by. Clem pulled back for a moment. Does have a tank on the high ground. Has those Hellbats. Bailing should get damage done. They're rolling in. Bailing speed has completed. They get into mineral line and Clem. Ooh, late reaction. Big connections and 18 SVs go down. Clem will lose his mineral line and he is committed. SHIN is already up to 80 drones. He's up to 80 workers. Will go up this hatchery. The base will go down. Files connect. And SHIN goes for another Ling run by. Goes for the same third base. Cleans up whatever was left. 10 more SCVs go down. Clem, he's all in. At this point, he's completely all in. We have to keep going. We have to keep pushing. SHIN gonna be pulling back. Well, Clem looks like he wants to rotate around. I mean, he killed a base. That's true. He did kill a base. SHIN, he gets knocked down to 4 bases. But Clem needs more than just killing a hatchery. He is re-establishing his base. He could try to lift up his main, but no, he does have a 4th on the way. He is being landed on location. Clem rotating around. Does rotate around. Ultra Caverns on the way here for SHIN. Making use of that hive. Adrenal's on the way as well. Adrenal, Ultras. I believe we don't have a Viper. No, we do! 3 Vipers are already out. SHIN, he comes in once for the 3rd time. Clem losing his mineral line, losing his workers. Big blinding clouds here on the tanks. As we will collapse on them. Yoinking the final tank. Every tank goes down. We're down to only a handful of bio units, a handful of Marines. SHIN, he will pull back. And again, Clem, his economy crippled time and time again. You don't want to be a worker, not under Clem's army. Not like this. They just want to mine, Poppy. Let them work. Aye. As we can see, Clem just muling his heart out. Trying to stay in this, trying to keep up. 3 more Ultras on the way. Oh, the Vipers have to be careful. As they do top up their energy. Double drop into the main. Passing bombs thrown down. Gonna get quite a bit of damage done here on these medevacs. Likewise, we can see Clem going for a mine drop at the same time. Doesn't get much damage done. SHIN, he does react in time. Does only lose 3 drones to the 3 mines. Good reaction out of SHIN. Ooh, and he does kill a Widow mine. And the problem here is that there's no answers to the Ultras. We have a Bio Mine Marauder. Like Marine Marauder, Medevac, Widow mine. That's all we do have. No Ghosts, no Liberators. We don't have the economy for it. We've just been so crippled here in our economy that we just cannot take up. We could end up in a weird position here where Clem is pushing, but he's pulling back home. And SHIN collapses on the 3rd base. Big blinding cloud here on the Marines. Good mine shots. Good mine shots on the Banelings. But again, the Ultras, they have kindness plating, they have +2. They have 2-2 on them. 1 Ultra goes down towards the left-hand side, but we're breaking into the natural and the 3rd base. Lings, they come in to reinforce. GG gets called, and SHIN has done it. He takes down Clem 2-0. GG. GG, well played. SHIN. Bobby. Very well played, very well done here by SHIN. Takes down Clem 2-0. To be fair, this was a very aggressive series from Clem specifically. Winding it back, remember, game 1, Clem went for not a 2-Rax Reaper, he went for a proxied 3-Rax Reaper build against SHIN. Was able to get damage done, but he triggered an all-in that wasn't scouted. Didn't scout the all-in, did pay the price for it. Here in game number 2, somewhat similar story here, where we saw Clem go for a proxy again. He went for a proxy starport here in game 2, something very unorthodox. Went for proxy liberator, went for a Hellion Cyclone push. He was able to kill queens, but he wasn't able to deal any economic damage, and he forced an all-in out of SHIN. SHIN's all-in didn't kill Clem this time, but it did cripple him, and SHIN was able to get ahead, macro out of it, have an economic lead, have a tech lead, and SHIN was in control of that game. That's why he had the freedom to go for Baling run-bys, Ling run-bys, because of the lead that Roach Ravager push had given him. And with that, congratulations. Congratulations here to SHIN, as he does take down Clem 2-0. Again, SHIN flexing his unique ZVT style. Again, he showed it off against Kior yesterday in much more standard games. Here against Clem, we had a little bit more chaos ensuing. It was a little bit more chaotic overall, but regardless, GG, well played. Ooh. But this is not the last we're seeing, or these are not the only 2 players that we're going to be featuring here tonight. We have Clem and SHIN now taking a bit of a break, because up next we have a TvT between Oliveira and Cure. Let's go.